Well, next up, I am going to welcome to the red carpet, Mary ZumBrunnen. Mary, join me up here. So good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I am fantastic. We are going to talk about Mary's book, Transcendent Partnership, Aligning Agendas for Collective Impact. Not everybody's going to know all those terms. So, Mary, let's tell people what's a transcendent partnership and what's collective impact. Oh, and I'll have you come a little closer to me because you're tall.
Sure. So I think you have to start with collective impact. Like, what is that? That's a huge mouthful. And I think people make a lot of assumptions about that title. So collective impact is actually a framework for social change. And it's one of those things where one organization alone can't do it all. Your nonprofit may champion a cause, but it's not going to solve homelessness alone. So this is really a cross-sector collaboration. This takes public, private, independent, and nonprofit sectors coming together along with citizens for the greater good. So this might be supporting vulnerable populations. It might be reducing homelessness. It might be improving economic development outcomes. So that's collective impact. But to get it done, we have to align our agendas and make sure we're all speaking the same language. And what I mean by language is culture, systems, even policies and procedures. So what I've created is a methodology for doing that, and I'm using tools and tips from supply chain management and applying that to our nonprofit work. And I think that that's something that is rare so far.
Yeah, that's a pretty unique combination, supply chain management and nonprofits.
But what I think that the key piece is that the servant leaders that are doing this nonprofit work, who are usually anchoring these types of programs, are the servant leaders. And we can't lose ourselves in that process. So there is individual work that has to be done. There's leadership work that has to be done. We align our agendas, and then literally we transcend and we improve our communities.
It's fantastic. So for you, there are a lot of people that are talking about how to and asking us questions about how to narrow in on your topic. And one of the things I think that's amazing about your work is you had a pretty huge body of expertise behind you. Can you talk about getting clear? Amy says, if I have multiple ideas I want to write about, does the author incubator process help us select the one that will have the biggest impact? Jana from New York says, I really don't know where to start. I have the ideas and a title, but I'm not sure where to start. There are a lot, Marcia or Marcia from Cape Cod is saying, how do you come up with ideas for your book? How do I pick one? So lots of questions about zooming in on the idea. I know you have a big body of knowledge and experience working on these issues, but how did you pick the idea for the book?
That is a great question because I had a ton of ideas, and I've done professional writing, I've done social media writing, I've contracted for universities to do academic writing, and I knew that I had to do a book to free myself, actually, and so I needed to get all this stuff out there. And when I first started working with you, what was interesting was you said, Mary, back up, you're like, you've got 3 ideas in one book here, we need to separate this out. And what I found out was that I had more to say than I had anticipated on one subject. And so I've been trying to cram everything in there thinking that this was going to be like my big gift. And it turns out that when you start separating it out, you actually have so much more to offer than you're expecting when you start at the beginning of the road. You can't see what it's going to look like. You have a dream for what it's going to look like at the end, but you can't be wed to that outcome. So you have to be willing to adapt and change along the way. And I think that's the key. So you'll find out you have all kinds of secrets inside that just need to pop.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you do consulting work. You actually work with nonprofits, nonprofit leaders. How do you see this book fitting into your business, and has it changed or impacted your business?
You know, this allowed me to do what I do more joyfully, honestly. I have been working for 15 years. I worked with academic institutions and nonprofits. And then for the last 10 of those, I was doing my own consulting work, contracting for community development, economic development organizations, typically around workforce innovation and public health. And what lit me up inside was really doing career transition coaching for 18 to 65-year-olds who were looking to get into the public sector, the independent or nonprofit sectors, but didn't know how to do it. And so for the last 3 years, I've been executive coaching for Michigan State University. And so this book has allowed me to really focus in on the coaching piece and working people through not only applying systems, but like I said in the beginning, it's about that servant leadership, and it's tapping into that place where you want to help other people. So I think there's a systematic process to doing that and not losing yourself in it. So that for me was really like the aha moment that I wanted to share.
Did you know that going into the process of writing a book, or did that become kind of more evident over the last 4 or 5 months?
No, that became evident over the last 4 or 5 months. I started writing the book as a cathartic way to share with others who were in my situation, feeling like they were being pulled and tugged in every different direction between these types of organizations trying to get the work done, but not necessarily being completely aware of what that takes. It's one thing to look at it on paper, and it's another thing when you're talking about social change, there's a lot of factors that play into that. So
yeah, for sure. Well, let's show everyone your book. Here it is, Transcendent Partnership, Aligning Agendas for Collective Impact. If you know anybody who wants to make a bigger difference, and particularly on big issues, global, national, regional issues that are important to improving the quality of life, services, particularly people in the nonprofit sector, please go ahead and share that Amazon link with someone today. And Mary, thank you so much for your book.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you.